Few imagined it would end this way. Fewer still imagined we would make a difference. Needless to say, the conflict that followed, it didn't go well.
Hello Armaholics, and welcome back to another episode of Workshop Scenario Showcase. So you may recall a video I made some time ago showcasing a mini campaign named Snowblind, which I thought was probably the best cinematic experience to be had within Arma 3 at the time. Well, its creator, Thomahawk, has since released more content, and with each release the quality just gets better and better, and in all honesty they all deserve their own video. But something about Red Moon really grabbed me, and it made me forget I was actually playing Arma 3. So how in this case does Thomahawk yet again pull it out of the proverbial bag, and why is it worth your attention? In order for me to answer this, we need to look to the past and how that has shaped the present. I suppose we could call this a creator and a mission showcase all in one. Now, cast your mind back to the Snowblind mission. Solid atmosphere built on a masterful use of light and shadow, as well as superb object placement. Then we had Liberty, in my opinion quite a unique mission on the workshop, which put the emphasis on the carnage unfolding around you, clever AI placement, and the setting itself makes it unique to begin with. Following that, we get introduced to the Nightmares mini campaign. It combines all the lessons learned on object placement, set pieces, but then it introduces some rather nice indoor and interior spaces for the player to explore and fight in. And lastly, Thomahawk released Renegade, again combining what has come before with the introduction of operational phases or chapters. It was a really nice way to pace the mission. There is some daytime combat which, while strange for Thomahawk, still retains a high degree of immersion and atmosphere. The inclusion of more lore or backstory was also a welcome addition. More notably, for a lot of Arma players, the huge boost in performance. The scope is big, but it runs like a dream compared to the previous offerings. Right, so here we are at Red Moon, finally at what the video is actually intended for. So does it have the atmosphere on par with the other offerings? Yes, and then some. Right off the bat, it gave me those Terminator Future War vibes, the tunnels, the ragtag units getting briefed in the sewer junction, all the while hell is breaking out above them. There's also a scene within the mission where you could literally replace a helicopter with a hunter killer and you'd think you were in that universe. It really has a hell on earth feeling. The opening firefight, again, another fantastic set piece and just powerhouse of an opening. Thomahawk has took a ton of feedback from previous releases and really honed his or her craft. Let's have some examples. Text lines have cleverly been replaced with voice lines from the Arma 3 campaign and its DLCs to suit and support the narrative of the mission. From the briefings on each phase of the battle to providing the much needed ambient battle chatter as you storm down the ruined streets.
Re-established contact with NATO Medcom have thus far proved fruitless.
We're under heavy assault. We can't. 1-1, stay it down. Over.
Glad to see you made it here in one piece. Any new intel?
AF hit us hard last night. It's good to see you in one piece.
From what I've seen, the AI seems a bit, how do I put it, more fair. Previous missions I would suffer a lot of the laser accurate and 360 no scoping AI shots, but I can hand on heart say that the difficult seems a lot more balanced. I'm going to raise another point about the AI in a moment, but next up is performance. Yes, performance, I've already mentioned this, but it was a major concern for the earlier missions, but I think smarter placement and the use of operational phases has allowed the creator to delete, load or hide assets between said phases. And if this has been a stickler for you in particular, may I suggest you try Renegade or this current Red Moon mission. There is a noticeable difference in performance. I think you'll really notice it, guys. Now, talking of loading and hiding assets, we already know Thomahawk can build some really nice compositions, but these are literally on another level. The way the assets are laid in the scene really provides a sense of, I don't know how to describe it, maybe it's depth or scale. It's a sense you're fighting in a much larger city than Arma can typically provide. Other games often have skyboxing or a low poly facade to give the illusion of scale. Arma doesn't really have this option for a mission creator, so it makes this feat even more commendable. And just on the whole, I think there is some really memorable set pieces of choppers going down, enemy planes flying between office towers, friendly choppers providing very close air support, just what you come to expect from a Thomahawk mission. There are, however, some issues, and not all of these are down to the creator, but probably just Arma itself. One of the issues is that with the increasing use of custom-made structures and beautiful level design, the AI will become increasingly dumb and will not path through it. So 90% of your enemies are actually static and are limited to standing, crouching or proning. Indeed, this has been negated somewhat by clever placement, but it does take away from the overall experience, but only by a little bit. For the most part, this is a heavily linear mission and takes away player freedom, but 99% of you will probably be subscribing this because you want that fairly short, structured cinematic playthrough. As much as I love the mood of the evenings and seeing the tracers blare off in the distance, I'd like to see Thomahawk tackle more daylight scenarios. I think it would be a huge challenge to keep things as atmospheric as the other missions, and I know deep down if you're watching Thomahawk you like a challenge. Bugs, thankfully all major ones have been squished, and all that should remain are the common Arma problems which we all have to deal with, unfortunately. Lastly, well, it's not really a problem, but it left me wanting more, so it's my problem I suppose, but I think any experience leaving you with that feeling is definitely worth a download. Other things of note is the inclusion of a decent amount of backstory and lore, and the translations. And yeah, it doesn't really get mentioned a lot, but translations. The mission is fully translated in English, French, Russian, Chinese, and I think German. I only speak English, but it's awesome to know time and effort has been made to ensure many more Arma players can be fully immersed into the mission. Translators do get credited in the Steam description and in the mission itself, but rarely receive a shout out on a video, so you know what guys, good job. So let's start rounding off the video and ask the all important question, should I give this a try? Yes, absolutely, it's one of the most unique experiences you'll have within the Arma 3 framework. And combined with a couple of visual and audio mods such as Blast Call special effects or the JSRS sound effects, probably amongst the most prettiest as well. If you're one of the users who's had trouble with the previous offerings, specifically in the performance and AI balancing departments, then I can wholeheartedly say that the creator has gone to great lengths to improve these aspects, and it's definitely worth a download. If you are looking for something more open-ended or more of a sandboxy feel, then I'm gonna say this isn't for you, but it still should be appreciated for what it is, a masterclass in atmospheric and cinematic mission design within Arma 3. Until the next one, Armaholics, bye!